my mind being altered by the drugs that I was on attracted negativity.
Mm-hmm. Like a doorway.
Yeah, yeah, negativity, demonic forces, if you will. So I think that drug me down.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And when people lose so many loved ones in a short amount of time, you go into dark places. You have, I used to explain it in my experiences like having one foot in the world everybody sees, one foot in the other. You're half here, half there. And that's the way it is for a long time to lose so many people and, to suffer that way. It's a very lonely place to be because, there's
Oh, yeah.
especially when it's
Yes.
when it's all the only people that you could depend on, all of them at once.
So
So,
I really did. I felt like an orphan. Like
mm-hmm.
I was lost in a world with nobody.
You were completely isolated.
Yeah.
Which was, we were a prime victim.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes it's hard to talk about though.
Everybody that loves Chris knows what an emotional person he is. It's that deeply empathic ability he has to connect with people. I think that's why he attracts the types of spirits that that sparked my interest. It's always that little girl voice or
Right.
the motherly-like voice,
But then
in a cemetery in the dark.
when you hear those voices, when I first started hearing those voices, I always would think it was that little girl or that mother reaching out for help or whatever.
Because that's what you felt like. You felt like
Yes.
that orphan little girl, and you were, reaching out into the darker places and in the spirit world looking for what you lost. And that's exactly how they reacted to him. They fed off what he wanted, and they gave it to him. And then we found out later,
Right. That's not so much.
that's not what it was at all.
Not so much, my friend.
No, not anybody's friend.
But yeah, it took a long time to overcome this.
And that's what I mean by knowledge is power. Now, he's not one to bully people into believing his point of view or anything, but he's coming from a place where he understands it through suffering. Through suffering, he met these communications. He met these voices, so to speak. These familiar spirits, let's call them that.
Yeah.
So they say beware the familiar spirit. I say be aware that they are familiar. Know them when you hear them. Know what they're about. And when you see this in your cases, when you see it in I don't care if it's somebody who bought a ticket to go on a public ghost hunt, if you see
Right.
them displaying this type of emotion, this type of and the same voices, familiar things that you know of, then you have knowledge of it. And you know that this is somebody that you have an interest in, that you can help, without a doubt, because you came from that place yourself. That is what's very unique about his style of paranormal research and how he is able to, speak in a motivational way. It's hard to speak motivation about such dark things and have a good outcome, especially when we're talking
Right.
about ghost hunting or paranormal research.
But that helped me pull out of that because I wanted to help people. I wanted to be clear-headed.
Right.
If someone calls me from up the street and says, there's something going on in my house, I don't want to take myself, and all my negativity there.
Right.
To add on to their issues. I want to go in there clear-headed and straight and be able to figure out what it is that's going on, whether it's paranormal or not so much.
You want to be that light in the darkness, which,
Yes.
and that's what you were able to achieve through your own personal suffering, and that's what it really takes. And that's the knowledge you have of it. And I think that others can really see that, because let's face it, that it's a dark place to come from, and there are so many people in the world. A large percentage of the population suffers with something like this today. And
you go from addiction to drugs, you can get addicted to the paranormal also.
that's true. That's another can of worms.
Yeah.
But they're on the same shelf.
Right. I don't think either one of them are good for anybody. And I think I had a little bit of that going on in there also.
Oh yeah, definitely. Spiritual, inner battle. But you know, you were dealing with the spirit world, and he always will be, I think. He's a lifer now. And he'll always be available to notice these types of afflictions, have the knowledge of what needs to be done to achieve success, and be the beacon and a light in the darkness for people who want to be where you are on your point in this life, and to learn how to help people come out of it on their own and become another force on the planet to fight against that darkness. And that's really the message that I believe you want to get out to people today.
Yeah.
And through your public speaking, correct?
Yeah, because I was in that dark place, but now I'm in a good place. No matter what happens, I try to find the positive in it. And I know that sounds cliche. No matter what it is, there's always something positive. But it is true. It's worst day in the history of your life, but there's something positive coming out of that.
Count your blessings.
Yes, that's for sure.
There's one in every day.
That's for sure, but...
And they add up.
Yeah. Now I'm level, straight, and I can help people that have the same issues that I do, or did, or similar.
And that is a positive outlook.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching the Evermore Paranormal Network. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Ghost-A-Thon. Until next time, just remember, life goes on. So in the end, what have I said is only that I'm sure. For all I know about this place is that I call it evermore.